You rock! Alright, I've had better openings. Give a guy a break. I've been playing solid for days. Locked in this damn garage, they won't let me out. Say I don't act right, and I don't. Anyways, tonight, look at the coffee cup my kids got me. So, sporting some African gold in the cup. And it's black. I'll give you that. Oh, jet black coffee, man, from Africa. Called jet black or black African. I don't know what the hell it is. Man, is it good. All right, so tonight, without further ado, we're going to roll through some Kemper patches from the green box of love. My best friend in the whole world. My Kemper. My Kempers. Bought another one today. I love them. They are awesome. They are awesomeness tone giants in one little box. If you don't know what a Kemper is, get a grip. Can I tell you? It's the greatest damn thing in the world. Okay, not the world. Feeding the hungry. Curing disease. One of those would be the greatest. But right after that, look it up. There's a picture of one of those. All right. So we're going to roll through some patches. And I got to be careful because I'm clipping this mic input. And I don't really give a shit because it sounds so good. I mean, if I could turn that up, this whole room shakes by just hitting the two strings. Okay, not that. Okay, so I'm going to turn the mids up a little bit. Ooh. I just came up with that. I know it sounds like it, doesn't it? goodness. So this is the Amp Factory's Man Rock 800. I'm guessing that it's probably a Marshall. And it says, was recorded in 2012. Blah, blah. Doesn't matter. It's killer. This was a free patch off the Kemper website. What more can you ask for? Can I tell you? I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go on with this program because it's pretty much the Kemper than everything else. Now, analog gear has its place. I do love it. I love it, and I have lots of it. But this is just easy. And all the sounds are right here. I'm not running around in the studio trying to figure out where to plug, how to run. No noise. I got noise. It's right there. Right there. And my coffee's right here. And now you can play guitar instead of chasing around equipment. There's always a place. Still use the JMP1. The other day picked up a Jackson preamp. Whoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Who'd have thunk it? Didn't even know of such a thing. Saw it on eBay. Whack-a-doodle. Now I own one. Also, for those tube collectors out there, I believe there will always be tubes because tubes are tubelicious and awesome for amplificators. I stole that from somebody else. Anyways, so tubes. Man, there's been some good deals on eBay lately. You guys that are tube guys, dude, the RCA black plates, I bought one tonight, a 12AX7A, $50 to $100 tube. Brand new in the box, $14. $13.64, something like that. Whatever. Killer deal. Can I tell you? I mean, that tube will last for ever. And they're going up at a rate faster than the stock market. Well, maybe not. But when they... Well, maybe. I don't know. Who cares? I got some exciting news coming here in a little bit. I hope I can share with you guys. And this isn't some pump me on something that I'm trying to pump up or whatever. I got some really killer news, and I'm hoping that it goes through, but I'm not going to say anything until it happens. And then when it does, you're all going to be blown away. Yeah, you are. Well, maybe not. Yeah, you are. You will be. So again, this package is the Amp Factory Man Rock 800. Sounds pretty good. Got the reverb on, the delay on, and I have no idea what all these stomp boxes are here. Let's look. That's threshold. Oh, it's a gate. Look at there. Let's turn that off. I like it off. Very cool. So, Man Rock, I'm going to get out of there. Let's go to something else. I told you guys I'd go around. Mesa Mod Anger. Why not? Load it. Cab sim off. You can globally turn that cab sim off. I got to do that. Hello, Mesa Boogie. Maybe that sounds good. Stop me dead in my tracks. Woo! so killer about the green box. I just went from the kick-ass, most unbelievable Marshall sound an hour ago, and it can happen in a second. Switch around and boom, there it is again, man. I've got a Mesa Boogie. Just, oh my God. Unbelievable. So check this out. Dude. Mesa goodness, baby. Mesa freaking goodness. Gotta hand it to the amp factory, man. These guys are killer. And this patch right here, man, is woohoo. It's the shit. I mean, I hope that conveys through this microphone. This is a good microphone. AKG C414, if I haven't said that enough times, through an iRig Pro and into the camera. Nothing else. So I'm going to turn on a little delay because I like a little delay. And I'm going to find out what's this got threshold again. I have to say I like that. It's got the sparkle in the middle like a JMP1 or maybe even a Fender. Kind of got that perkiness. Like, you know, when you were younger and you saw a chick, man, and she was coming at you and she was a little perky. Yeah, like that. Sounds like it wants to rip them 30s apart. Wish I'd have knew that patch was there last weekend when I played that damn gig. That sucks. I should look around in there once in a while. Alright. That patch is killer. Ah. Wow. Man, oh man. Let's have another look at that. I hope you can hear that. It's clipping the mic. The whole room's buzzing. That is a kick-ass patch. I mean, kick-ass like, I'm not sure I got ass left. It's that kick-ass. Kick your butt. Man, that's a good patch. Let's go ahead and EQ it. So, okay, so I'm going to go in here and turn the pick attack up a little bit, because that might be fun. You know what I mean? Just doesn't get any meaner. I mean, it's no mean in this room right now. I'm scared. I'm scared. Made my daggum guitar come to life. Man, that is just all joking aside, man. Woo. Wow. That is a killer patch, man. I'm gonna try some. Turn up the clarity here a little bit. Leave it alone. Sounds good. Direct to the mix, though. I might turn that up just a second. No, definitely not. Sometimes I really don't care for EQing these. The more definition I add in that patch, the clearest, the crispier and cleaner it sounds. The distortion doesn't sound so distorted. Then what's the sense? Sounds clean and big, huge. Live without a neck, huge. Really. Afraid I'm out of tune. I just set the intonation in this, and I need to probably put a new set of strings on it. I do digress. I got a little carried away there. I am sorry. It is what I do. As a guitar player, you know that's what we do. We get carried away. That's what makes us good. Someday I want to be good. So I get carried away hoping that I'll get good. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? All right. So, I thought we'd get through more patches, but man, I fell in love with that patch. The Amp Factory. Damn! I'm gonna send them guys an email. Holy cripolas. It's a Mesa Boogie patch, and I mean it boogie. You know what I mean? It boogie. You hear what I'm saying? All right. The Amp Factory Mesa Mod Anger Plus. And man, ooh, can't wait to get off camera and turn that shit up. Wow. Man, to the Amp Factory. Yeah. Those guys are awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this little segment tonight. I keep promising to use this Rocktron and show you guys this Rocktron, and I will soon. And switch from the 9200 to this Rocktron. But that sounds gooder to goodness. I heard it all from you guys. You know, you're just using a Kemper and you got a tube amp anyways. Dude, why are everybody stuck on one or the other? You know, I've heard an Axe Effects through like a 9200. I've heard an Axe Effects through a VHT and it was glorious. I've heard an Axe Effects through, let me see. I heard an Axe Effects one time through a Mesa, is it the 290? I think it was a 290. 90 watt one? Woohoo! Killer tonnage. Was it for me? No, I didn't care for it. But I appreciate, you know, one box doing everything like I do here. And everyone's, oh, but it doesn't. Well, let me tell you something. You put a preamp in front of the fractal audio. Did I say Matrix? Ah, well. It's been a long night. I didn't have enough coffee. That's cool, huh? Kids got that? Yeah, I already covered that. All right, anyways. Put a preamp in front of the fractal audio and power amp behind it and use it as an effects box, distortion box, whatever the hell you want to call it. And the beauty of that is you get the tube goodness of the power amp really making the speakers do crazy stuff. It changes impedance. Look at YouTube. That Fryette guy does a cool video where he splits up solid state and then two power amps. I can't remember which ones they are. Obviously one of them's his, you know, he's trying to get you to buy his stuff, and his stuff's great. And it works really, really well. And if you put a preamp in front of it to catch that, Howard Dumble said it, Alexander Dumbal, one of the greatest, probably the greatest amp genius of all time, him and Jim Marshall, in my book, even though I don't have a book. I never looked to see if there was a book there. No, there's no book. Anyways, two of the greatest guys to ever touch circuitry for, you know, these beautiful things we love to play with. Not just, I mean, this, right? Not play with, you know what I meant. Anyways, Alexander Dumble said, and I quote, well, I can't quote it, but it's something like this. There's a quote on YouTube where he's sitting in a chair and he says, well, the subtle harmonics and, you know, whatever of a guitar can only be captured in a free-form vacuum tube and cannot survive in a crystal lattice. What the fuck is that? The guy's he's too smart for me. And Alexander Dumble, if you ever see this, I love you. You are the most amazing dude. Because I kind of feel like I'm him most nights. I'm just in here just blowing up stuff, and it's just a mad race to I don't know where. But you can't capture the subtle, beautiful harmonics that come in a guitar, those little tiny nuances. They're just these little things. I don't know how to... Tone! Hear that? Not gonna get it out of anything but a tube. A tube has the ability of catching those subtle little goodness. Listen to that. Watch when Eddie Van Halen plays in watch the Eddie Van Halen video in when is it, 2000 and whatever, NAMM. Just put in Eddie Van Halen NAMM, and he's playing with the back of the guitar and just doing weird. You will not get those to survive, those fragile harmonics. You will not get them to survive outside of a vacuum tube. The first thing that this wire needs to run through is a tube. And this and fractal audio. Fractal's okay. I think this is much more me. Fractal might be your thing, but for me, I like this. But the first thing this needs to run through is a tube to capture those sounds. And really what it does is amplifies it. It amplifies those tiny little things, like when your fingers, listen. Now, fractal audio will give you some of that, but listen to how loud that is. It's just the pick. Everybody. How many times have you heard Eddie Van Halen or somebody do a pick drag, you know? You're not going to get that any other way. You hear that, whoa, the notes floating all over the place. It's musical. And that's what happens to the guitar, is it goes from this steel, you know, hunk of wood and steel strings to something that sounds more musical, because the notes kind of dance all over the place. That's what tone is. How the notes, ooh, and just goes all over the place. There is some computer software out there, TH2 Overloud, Scuffum Amps. Shout out to Mike. Mike at Scuffum Amps is the bomb diggity. Some of you know why I say that. Mike's the man. Anyways, can't get those subtle harmonics any other way. There's some software out there, TH2 Overloud, Scuffum Amps. You know, there's all kinds. Amplitude. Hey, Amp 1. Amp 1, you heard it here. This kid in Russia sleeps on a couch and learned code and tore apart some amplifiers and learned how to mock the sound of them into a computer and done a bitchin' job. Look up Amp 1. It's really, really good. Anyways, some of those amp simulators like TH2 Overloud, yeah, dude, the distortion, they double track so you can run 2 full rigs, and double track like you can run a Lynch box in the TH2 Overloud. Let's say you can run a Lynch box and then like a, you know, whatever else over here, and double track them together so that you're really hearing two amplifiers, and they're slightly kind of like out of kilter, so you just get this stereo separation that's just killer. But everything else kind of gets lost with computer software because they don't sing like a tube amp. My opinion is that's why this sounds so good, because the subtle changes that happen in a tube amplifier, because tube amplifiers are far from Ferraris as far as reproducing sound exactly the way it's supposed to be reproduced. They're very good at coloring the tone, and they're kind of wide and all over the place. If you listen to a tube amplifier really carefully, they kind of sing, but they're not really singing. What they're doing is they're kind of, I know a lot of tube guys are gonna freak, but they're kind of like, they're fluctuating, like tube sag. Let's say tube sag is when the amp actually kind of fluctuates in sound. Well, that reproduces itself in this very musical sense by kind of singing. Marshalls are killer at it. Dumbles are killer at it. And remember, don't forget to check out Sebago Sound. Sebago Sound has killer amps, very singing. They even have an amp called the Still String Singer after the original Dumble, and they are bad to the bone bad. Best I've heard. But that's what a tube amp does, is it kind of sings, and that's what the Kemper helps you do. And by running a preamp in front of it and a power amp behind it, it gives you the ability to change all of these different kinds of amp tones and still have the singing in front of it or behind it, and that capturing of it in the front, right? So you get this kind of singingness, and I pick it up on different notes in different ways. Certain amps will sing in different ways. That's why the Kemper is so good, because the particular amp that was profiled into the Kemper might have sung differently, let's say, in a particular note range. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So let's see if we can check it out. Do you hear it go whoop? Kind of, it's very, very subtle, but it's musical. And most people don't realize that's why it sounds so musical, but that's why it sounds so pretty. So when you're on the vibrato like that, or you're stretching a note up and the note's kind of catching up and squeezing up, it's called blooming. Doug Doppler did a great video on a Dumble amplifier, and I heard him use that phrase, and I stole it from since then. It's called blooming, and that's what it is. The note kind of blooms open, and nothing does it better than nothing does it better than a Dumble. And Sebago Sound now has an amplifier that's real close. You hear it? Ooh. We'll do it again. How inconsistent the sound is. If you really listen to the note go up, I'm going up exactly the same every time, or I'm trying. That's why I don't think computer software sounds as good, especially when you're pushing it through a cabinet like this. In headphones, whoo, sounds killer. But you still got to run it through a tube preamp to get the that just doesn't happen through solid state stuff. So that singiness of the inconsistency in an amplifier, and that's why I started this website, to kind of explain to guys why the older guys, or even now younger guys, really like the tubes. They don't really understand what they're doing, or maybe they do, but that's part of it, is the singiness of a tube, because the amplifiers are so kind of inconsistent. Now, some tube amplifiers are super consistent and do a reproduction of the sound very well. Like when you go into stereo amplifiers, they're killer and they sound very consistent and whatever. But if you'll notice, to some really expensive stereo amplifiers, they're very singy. And as you increase the size of the tubes, let's say from a 5881 to a KT66 and a KT88 to a KT120, the headroom goes up. And I believe that some of that headroom is that singing factor, that kind of blooming that happens at the end of a note. So when you listen to like jazz on a really killer tube amplifier, it just sounds like the music is just bigger than you've ever heard it before. That's the beauty of tubes. I do not believe that you're ever going to get that in a room. I don't know that your tube will ever be replaced. I could be wrong. This is the closest I've ever seen, and it is really, really good. And I believe in some ways the rig that I have here that I've taught so many people about, which is a preamp into the front of the Kemper and the back of the Kemper into a power amp into a good cabinet. The reason why it sounds so good is it's captured the sound of a tube amplifier and its inconsistencies in these patches, and then the preamp catches, you know, the subtle harmonics of my guitar, and then the power amp pushes it wide open. And I would say that my preamp is like a Solo 610 universal audio. It's a really good one. It's got a RCA black plate in the front and it's got a I'm not sure if it's a box plate. I think it's a box plate, which is a very expensive tube. It's either got a box plate or it's got a Mazda 12AX7 chrome plate, which are even more expensive, I think. They're probably right in the same range, but a good one now is about, boy, that one tube is like probably $120, or could be $150, could be $110 if you get it on sale or something. But they're pretty hard to come by, and I'm collecting them up as fast as I can because they're going to be tough to find in the future. And man, do they sound killer. They were the pick of Mr. Dumble. Mr. Dumble used a box plate in the phase inverter. Now, in some of his amplifiers, most of them, he used a box plate in the phase inverter, very, very balanced, and a Mazda chrome plate, I believe, in the V1 slot. And for those of you guys that are trying to learn, the V1 slot is the first tube that your guitar runs through in an amplifier, and it picks up about 70-80% of its tone there. So anyways, guys, I've rambled on long enough. It's been a long video. I want to say I love you. Thank you so much for the support, and I started to tell people I was going to have fun with this, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you love this as much as I love doing it, and I hope that something really great comes from this someday. And if not, we'll just keep rocking together, and that's what I'm here for. Know that I love you, and if you can, for me and anybody else out there who really needs the help, try to go out and help somebody tomorrow, man. If it's buying somebody a sandwich or you know, helping the guy next door who's gotten a little older in his days and help him pull some weeds in his yard, or just find a way to help somebody. It feels good to your heart, and it feels good to your soul. The world's just full of a lot of things that aren't the greatest out there, and to help somebody is just a wonderful way to give back to the world. So if you can, help somebody out. Know that I love you. I'm you, Rock. Good night.